Good morning, it's today again. Welcome back to Joseph's Reserves. I'm Joseph and I store 20% of my income in the form of rare coins and precious metals. Have you ever wondered which stage of stacker you are and what you should actually be focusing on at this stage? We've talked about beginners, we've talked about the intermediate stacker, but today we're going to take the final shift. The moment stacking stops being about you and starts being about your family. Because advanced stacking is more than just the metal. It's about the meaning behind it. Congratulations to VB Fisher for being the first to comment on yesterday's video. Make sure you go down into the comments to find him and start a conversation. If you've made it to this point, the advanced stacker, you're no longer stacking emotionally. You've built your emergency reserves, you've defined your allocations, and you understand premiums, and instead of thinking in months, you think in decades. This is the intermediate maturity when it comes to stacking. And here's the line between intermediate and advanced. An intermediate stacker builds for their lifetime. The decades-long thinking could mean that they're thinking about retirement or their exit strategy is for them to use it towards the end of their life. But an advanced stacker prepares for their stack to outlive them. Before, you were stacking for you, and now you're stacking for your future family. When you move into this stage of an advanced stacker, your questions start to change. It's no longer how much can I accumulate, it becomes what will this mean when I'm gone? Because in the ideal scenario, you will be gone. Your dealer will be gone. Even the current market structure may be gone. The pain points we deal with today, premiums, spreads, online dealers, LCS relationships, they may look completely different and be entirely irrelevant. In a true long-term vision, it may be your grandkids' who inherit these metals, and they will not know what you knew unless you prepare them. And that is advanced stacking. It starts with educating your heirs. Advanced stackers don't just leave the ounces, they leave understanding. Do your children know why you chose gold, why you chose silver, what role each plays within your stack? What does spot mean? What are premiums? And why volatility in silver is normal? If they don't understand it, they may panic sell it. Or worse, they may undervalue it. Education is part of this stewardship. It doesn't mean lectures. It can be simple conversations, letting them hold it, explaining why it matters, passing down the conviction, not just the coins. If you've built up a serious collection or a serious stack, you need them to understand not only what each coin values at, what each coin represents, how and why you put this together, and your goal for it to reach their children's or their grandchildren. Without the education, your children may just sell it as soon as they acquire it. But if you're able to teach them why you did it, why collect these silver and gold coins, why put together this large savings account and emergency fund and massive stores of value, if you're able to convey that to them, they may even spend the rest of their lives teaching their children and adding more to what you've accumulated. And that is the key to generational wealth. Yes, it does lie in the silver and the gold, but what is most important is the education. Next is the record keeping and the documentation. Advanced stacking requires extreme clarity. If something happens to you tomorrow, would someone know what you own, where it is, roughly what it's worth, or even how to liquidate it? Do you have an inventory? Is there written instructions on liquidating it? Do you have trusted contacts written down somewhere very close to your metals? Because all of this confusion can create a lot of friction, and friction creates loss over time. The goal for advanced stackers is to create frictionless transfers down the line. No complexity, no mystery, clarity. This is where a stacker's maturity and understanding of the market really starts to show. An advanced stacker will start to evaluate their stack asking, is this easy to sell? And when most people say that something is easy to sell, what they actually mean is it easy to get the premium that I paid for this item back in return. If you buy something at 100% premium over the spot price, is that an item that's going to maintain or at least become close to that percentage over spot? I have even heard of some strategies that people are trading semi-collectible coins back into bullion because of how difficult it is to sell and how difficult it would be for their heirs to understand how to sell these high premium items. And this really comes down to how recognizable and liquid simple bullion is. There's not very much explanation required in this is an American silver eagle. The thing is, when you're alive, you can explain that niche piece, but when you're gone, that explanation disappears. Advanced stackers think about the recognizability, the widely known mint products, the standard weights, the globally understood forms. Because when someone generations from now tries to liquidate it, you want that transaction to be as quick and clean as possible. No friction, no guessing, no long negotiation, and definitely no confusion about the value. So advanced stackers really just might make small shifts in what they're owning based on their thought process and timeline. Intermediate stackers think of 10 to 20 years in decades, but advanced stackers think in terms of 50 to 100 to 200 years from now. They understand something very simple. Gold has survived empires, and silver has cycled through monetary systems. Your lifetime is short compared to the monetary history. So the question becomes, will this metal bless my bloodline long after I'm gone? And that changes how you stack. You begin to care about simplicity, durability, recognizability, transferability. You start to think less about maximizing upside and more about maximizing clarity within your stack. That's why passing information with the metals becomes so important. This may be the most important part. If you pass down coins without notes, you pass down confusion. You pass down notes without education, you pass down insecurities. Advanced stacking includes written explanations, clear inventory, maybe even a letter describing how they should go about holding or selling the stack. In this letter, you can include why you stacked, what it represented, when to sell, when not to sell, and even who to call and what relationships they should be building after you're gone. Because someday someone may open that safe and think, what is all this? And your voice should still be there to answer. What you don't want is for your collection that you spent your time, money, effort, and energy on to end up in the arms of one of your children who will toss it on the counter of a local coin shop and utter the words, I have no idea what any of this is. While most local coin shops will offer market value even to someone who has no idea, at that point, you lost all control over the situation, and they could be going to anybody. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be collecting the things that you like to look at, and you shouldn't be collecting the somewhat numismatic or collection type coins. What I am saying is those coins should be relatively easy to look up the value. You also should know how to look up the value and be able to explain that to your heirs. And that is when you move from intermediate stacking to advanced stacking, when your primary concern shifts from building wealth to stewarding it to the next generation. Before, you were stacking for your future, and now you're stacking for theirs. And that's a completely different level of responsibility. Advanced stacking isn't louder, it's not flashier, it's a bit quieter, more thoughtful, and more permanent. And if you're starting to think this way, if you're starting to look at beyond your lifetime, then you may have already crossed into the line of advanced stacking. Because the highest level of stacking is not accumulation, it's stewardship. And at this level, what's most important is not the coins or the metals itself, is their understanding of what these represent to you, to the family, and beyond. The understanding of money, monetary value, and the willingness to grow your collection into something truly amazing for generations to come. I just made my own line of coffee. Joseph's Reserves It's Today Again coffee. Most mornings aren't dramatic. They're quiet. You wake up, pour yourself a cup, and now you have a choice. Drift through the day or take hold of what's in front of you. That's really what this whole thing's about. Showing up, building good habits, staying disciplined in the small things. Whether that's stacking consistently, learning something new, or just being faithful with what you've been given. I put these words on every bag to remind myself first. Every morning is a gift. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, today. So take a breath, take a sip, and let's get to work. It's today again. You can now write me at Joseph's Reserves, 10160 Highway 242, Suite 800, number 401 in Conroe, Texas, zip code 77385. Make sure to include your information so I can write you back. If you liked today's video, make sure to go down and give it a thumbs up and share it to anyone you think may also like it. Go down into the comment sections to start conversations or have a comment or question about the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. But most of all, thank you so much for watching. And just remember, every ounce adds up, so no matter how small, just keep stacking.